Leonardo da Vinci, painter, sculptor, architect, writer, inventor, engineer, scientist, was Italy's epitome of a Renaissance man. Widely considered to be one of the greatest artists of all time and one of the foremost intellects of world history, his brilliance survives today in artwork, statues, and notebooks found throughout Italy and beyond. The Mona Lisa, The Last Supper, and the Vitruvian Man. Although he has since been celebrated for his technological ingenuity, Leonardo's scientific genius largely went undiscovered and unappreciated during his time. But for all of his fame, Da Vinci remains a bit of an enigma. He didn't leave a lot of finished works, and early biographical details about him are scant, painting a picture of him as an immense genius. But today, we will be uncovering some of the lesser-known truth of this artist. So click the like, subscribe, and let's head right into it. First and foremost, the man we know as Leonardo da Vinci was not actually Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo's full name at birth was Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci, which means Leonardo, son of Ser Piero from Vinci. To his contemporaries, he was known just as Leonardo, or Second Florentine, since he lived near Florence. But it was not quite just his name, but his birth and background, which is a bit blurred from the mass public. Leonardo da Vinci was born in a farmhouse outside the village of Anciano in Tuscany in April 1452. His father, Ser Piero, was a wealthy Florentine notary, and his mother, a peasant woman named Caterina. But this was no story of a saintly man marrying a poor young woman, but a story of an unusual love affair for the time. Ser Piero and Caterina were never married, and Leonardo was in fact their illegitimate son. Ser Piero and Caterina went on to have many other children with other partners. Leonardo was the only child they had together. His illegitimacy meant he was not expected to follow his father's profession and become a notary. Instead, he was free to pursue his own interests and go in the creative arts. Leonardo's youth, however, remains quite murky. As a young boy, he eventually came to live with his father. One way or another, Leonardo never received the classical education in Greek, Latin, and higher mathematics that would have been common to high-born boys of his day. He was largely self-educated and was taught no more than basic reading, writing, and mathematics. Despite harsh beginnings, Leonardo showed potential for artistic talent, and as a young teenager was sent to Florence to work as an apprentice for the Florentine painter Andrea del Verrocchio, where he quickly surpassed his master's talent. In Verrocchio's workshop, he was exposed to theoretical training and a wide range of technical skills including metalwork, carpentry, drawing, painting, and sculpting. Leonardo's earliest known work, a pen and ink landscape drawing, was sketched in 1473. It is said that Verrocchio completed his 1475 masterpiece, The Baptism of Christ, with the help of Da Vinci, who painted the background and probably the young angel holding Jesus' robe. Rumors have that after seeing Da Vinci's talent, popular legend has it that Verrocchio vowed to never paint again. Though officially attributed to Verrocchio, The Baptism of Christ shows Da Vinci's official launch into the art world. In 1478, Leonardo received his first independent commission to paint an altarpiece for the chapel of Saint Bernard in Florence's Palazzo Vecchio. In 1481, he was commissioned to paint the Adoration of the Magi for the monastery San Donato in Florence. But one thing Da Vinci was notorious for was never finishing his work. His wide range of interests often distracted him, and his perfectionism discouraged him from declaring a painting officially finished. Accused as a procrastinator and that he wouldn't start his work, Da Vinci was actually constantly starting works and neglecting to finish the ones he had already begun. The Uffizi houses some of these unfinished masterpieces, including two of the artist's first paintings, done in collaboration with Verrocchio, the Annunciation and the Adoration of the Magi, the first of which was painted in 1472 and housed in the Uffizi since 1867. The latter was left incomplete in 1481 and has been in the Uffizi since 1670. But these aren't the only works the artist never officially finished. The list includes Saint Geronimi in the Wilderness in the Vatican City, the Virgin and Child with Saint Anne held in the Louvre in Paris, and even the great Mona Lisa are examples of Da Vinci's masterpieces that the artist never declared complete. It appears that Leonardo was rarely content and satisfied with his work and had trouble stopping himself from making minute adjustments to his paintings long after they were probably complete. On top of that, Leonardo da Vinci was an extremely slow worker. In his lifetime, Van Gogh painted more than 2,000 works. Da Vinci, in comparison, spent more than 3 years painting The Last Supper and more than 5 years working on the Mona Lisa. The Adoration of the Magi took another 3 years and was declared unfinished. Da Vinci's special gifts. It's not a surprise for an individual like Leonardo da Vinci, the great artist, to also have a talent for music. According to his own writings, he believed music to be closely related to the visual arts, as it was similarly dependent upon one of the 5 senses. Da Vinci played the lyre and the flute, often performing at gatherings at the nobility house of his patrons. But let's wind back and get to know Da Vinci for what he's most famous for: his paintings. How can someone make paintings of the human form so realistically? Well, it's not just a special gift, but an acquired skill of Da Vinci. The artist obsessively studied human anatomy by dissecting human cadavers. Yes, Da Vinci dissected more cadavers than many contemporary doctors of his time. In an era where medical knowledge in Europe was rudimentary, to say the least, Da Vinci was one of the original pioneers in the field of documenting the human anatomy. At first, however, the artist likely had to dissect largely in secret. Though dissection itself wasn't technically an illegal thing in the 1400s, it surely was tough to get hands on bodies for experimentation. We can see Da Vinci's vast knowledge of human anatomy in another unfinished painting, Saint Geronimi in the Wilderness. Painted in 1480, the incredible detail of Saint Geronimi's neck and the bulging tendons and muscles of his shoulders give away Da Vinci's keen obsession with anatomy and close attention to human physiology. His study of the human body through secret dissections had likely already begun at this point. As Da Vinci's reputation grew, cadavers became easier to come by, and throughout his life, Da Vinci is reported to have completed more than 30 dissections. During his career, Da Vinci recorded his numerous thoughts, equations, illustrations, experiments, and scientific anatomic observations. These volumes of notes were written in mirror script. Held up to a mirror, they would read correctly. Historians say the reason he wrote this way was simple. Leonardo was left-handed. Writing from right to left was more comfortable for him and easier to do. But some suspect he did this to disguise his notes. Leonardo's scientific ideas and inventions gained little attraction among his contemporaries. He made no effort to get his notes published, and it was only centuries later that his notebooks, often referred to as his manuscripts and codices, were made available to the public. Because they were kept secret, many of his discoveries had little influence on scientific advancement in the Renaissance period. The most famous of his sketches was the Vitruvian Man, which was drawn in one of Da Vinci's private notebooks and was actually never meant to be public. But although the Vitruvian Man found its way to the public, with the many recreations and reprints of the sketch, the original Vitruvian Man rarely sees the light of day. The original drawing is kept in the Gallery dell'Accademia in Venice, but it's too fragile to be on permanent display. Speaking of Da Vinci's famous works, one has to mention the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa may as well be Da Vinci's most mysterious work. Not all of Leonardo da Vinci's masterpieces are found in Italy. Da Vinci began painting the Mona Lisa in Italy, but finished it on French soil after he was offered the title Premier Painter and Engineer and Architect to the King by Francis I. This new job allowed him to live a life of leisure in an ample country manor house. There are dozens of myths, legends, rumors, and lies swirling around Mona Lisa. That Da Vinci was sleeping with the subject of the portrait, that her smile is because she's pregnant, that it was Da Vinci's absolute favorite painting, that she was in fact modeled after a he, and the list goes on and on. As most rumors, they are impossible to prove or disprove. But speaking of rumors and Leonardo da Vinci's love life, little is revealed about Leonardo's personal life and relationships. He left no letters, poetry, or diary that indicate any romantic interests. He never got married, and it can't be stated with certainty that he had intimate relationship with any person, male or female. In 1476, however, Leonardo and 3 other young men were charged with the crime of sodomy in an incident that involved a well-known male worker. It was a serious accusation and could have led to his execution. The charges were dismissed for lack of evidence, but in the aftermath, Leonardo disappeared, only re-emerging in 1478 to take on a commission at a chapel in Florence. Down the line, when Francis I of France offered him the title of Premier Painter and Engineer and Architect to the King in 1515, Leonardo left Italy for good. As for one of his last works, the Mona Lisa, we do know the artist kept the painting with him after it was officially finished and continued to add details and brushstrokes here and there for the rest of his life. There were varying theories as to why he kept it to himself, that he loved it too much or that he wasn't satisfied with it. Some say Da Vinci's inactivity for the last 5 years of his life, during which the Mona Lisa and several other of his paintings were left in an incomplete state, was due to him becoming paralyzed due to a stroke. Leonardo da Vinci passed away in 1519 at the age of 67 and was buried in a nearby palace church. The church was nearly obliterated during the French Revolution, making it impossible to identify his exact grave. If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel for more videos like this one.